All right, welcome back to the Fan Forum. I'm Mark. Unfortunately, as you can see, there's no Hitch tonight. He has been unable to join us. As you all know, he's been very secretive about where he's been, but I feel like once we break into this next story, I think it's all going to make sense. So, Lions just started their training camp. We've already got the injury buzz going around. Levi Anzaworke, he's out for the season. He's tore his ACL. That really pisses me off. I feel like he's done. When I heard the news, I thought to myself, all right, he's done. He's done with his NFL career. I mean, the guy's barely played a couple of years. He can never stay healthy. And his role of being a defensive lineman who can't stay healthy, now he's got an ACL tear on top of that. I don't really see much out there for him, and maybe as a rotational edge rusher on another team, but I feel like this is the last we've seen of him in a Lions jersey. I'm not going to even try to make a case to keep the guy around. I'm not saying he's not gone already, but I feel like he is. I feel like that's just a name we're never going to talk about. Taylor Decker's hurt. We got, I think, 13 people on the physically unable to perform list, which take that with a grain of salt. The camp just started. Some of these older vets, especially in the positions that require a little bit more size, I think you're going to see. I don't get too worried into it unless it's something like we see with Levi Anzaworke. So, yeah, we'll get into that, man. We've got probably a shorter episode tonight just because it's me. We're not live. I don't have anybody out there that was able to hop on tonight. I tried to get Mr. Lesage back. And honestly, thanks everybody for watching that episode with Bob. That was a huge, huge episode for us. I'd like to encourage anybody. Actually, out of the 60 listeners we got out of that last episode, if you're watching this one or listening to this one and you want to come on and, do what Bob does, sit in for the Podfather when he's not here, or you want to come on and talk to Hitch and I, we'd love to schedule something and set you guys up and we can record something. I think it would be fun. I know Bob had a lot of fun. So, yeah, I want to thank everybody for listening to that. I really want to get everybody out there to subscribe. We picked up at least like 10 or 12 new listeners just from last week's episode. So thanks to that, everybody, if you could start encouraging your friends to subscribe. Although this is a Lions podcast, we're getting real close to the start of football season. So I think those football conversations are going to pick up. So think about us. Think about us during the season too, because we're going to be coming on here on YouTube for sure live, streaming on all of our other platforms, and we'll be doing some pregame stuff. Hitch and I will go through, whatever the matchup is, any last-minute news. You guys can chime in. We want this to be as interactive as possible, so we're looking forward to that. We do anticipate hopping on after some games, and you better damn well believe all the primetime Monday night games, we'll be watching them and streaming live. So just wanted to mention that before we get into, some of the topics I'm going to talk about. But once I start going, I kind of forget. So let's just rip it right into it with this Lions camp chaos, whatever the hell you want to call it, right? So I made a mention before. We've got 13 people, 13 fellas, 13 gridiron warriors that are already on the injured list. I mean, I know injuries are a big part of football, but after us going through that historical injury-ridden season, starting off like this does have my antennas up. It's got me thinking. It's gotten me watching the waiver wire. It's gotten me watching the internet saying, oh, what is Brad Holmes doing? It's got me thinking, right? because not all of them are catastrophic. The biggest one is Levi Anzaruke, done for the season. Um, I guess if there was any of a time to sign Zadarius Smith, it's now, right? I saw a couple roster moves that I thought would have pushed the lever closer to us picking up Zadarius Smith again, but I still haven't seen it. I know the Chiefs paid their offensive tackle big money. The Packers just locked up one of their offensive tackles for big money. Von Miller signed with Washington, the Redskins, the Commanders, whatever they're calling themselves, which was an interesting move, right? I think pass rush, veteran leadership, that team's on the come up with Jaden Daniels. But when does Detroit go out there and make those little roster moves that answer back for Levi out and the 12 other players hurt? So that's the one I'm really focused on. The offensive line with Taylor Decker. I feel like the Lions have done a really nice job at already replacing Taylor Decker and Frank Ragnow before they left. Ragnow, again, still caught us by surprise with the retirement. But from what I'm understanding is the Motor City Mullet, Tate Ratledge is filling in just lovely. I think he's doing just nice. I saw a picture of him catching a shark. The guy just looks like he's ready to take that spot over. But we did draft a couple offensive linemen, and I think to be ignorant would be to think Taylor Decker is going to stick around forever. So, yeah, we can go through that. I know that's going to be where everybody's at. I don't know. We do have a lot to hope from with Marcus Davenport. I think Hitch is a little higher on Davenport than I am. I don't want to say I'm looking for him to be the next on the injured list, but unfortunately, I mean, guys, that's our next backup plan to Levi Anzaruke is having Davenport, right? So I kind of really want to get into this mindset of, if not Zadarius Smith now, when? And who else do you feel like is going to take the Levi Anzaruke spot? This defensive line, especially with Aiden Hutchinson coming back, I really feel like is in a prime position to take that next leap, right? So there's going to be some names out there, but in Brad Holmes fashion, he's going to take who he wants. Still think it's Zadarius. Still do. Still want it to be Zadarius. Oh, Zadarius, when will you be here? But it just gets to the point where I don't want to say get me to the Hall of Fame game, but get me to this pointless preseason, right? Because training camp buzz, you're going to get your Tim Twentyman comments and your Wojos, and they're just going to be writing the story that they feel comfortable telling you that day. Training camp is training camp, and I'm not going to get too lost into the position battles for the Lions or any of that nonsense. I guess I'm really just thinking about, all right, how quick is our general manager going to start replacing some of these guys? But we do have Amon-Ra St. Brown in our wide receiving core, primed for a beautiful season. I think this is going to be the breakout year for J-Mo. I think this is where Amon-Ra takes that next step in the NFL as a how do I want to call it? As one of the top 5 to be talked about for the next 10 years, right? Like, you've got your Justin Jeffersons, your Jamar Chases, right? You've got they're already talking about Marvin Harrison Jr., right? But the whole league slept on Amon-Ra for a couple rounds until we scooped him up. And every year he's just been proving himself to be better and bigger and faster and smarter and stronger. And he's proving that he's a future Hall of Fame wide receiver. So I really think this is going to be a big, big, big stepping stone in all of our offensive weapons. in lieu of these injury talks on the defense, I feel like that's such a high note. You've seen countless pictures of Jared Goff and J-Mo in the offseason before camp working out. We've seen J-Mo in the weight room. We've heard about J-Mo getting bigger, getting stronger, getting smarter too. I haven't seen him on 6 Mile at a Coney, which I can appreciate to an extent, but once you're part of the team now, we know you're here. Stay off 6 Mile, stay off 7 Mile. So Gibbs, to me, is still, I feel, very disrespected by the NFL at how much they sleep on Jahmyr Gibbs. In season, it was hard but I don't know, when I'm reading all these articles and I'm seeing all these hype videos, I feel like Bijan Robinson just gets too much more love than Jahmyr Gibbs. But whatever, that's irrelevant. We already know Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery are going to have an amazing, amazing season. So I'm super pumped about that. I feel like the offensive line is quietly becoming a fine-tuned Ferrari while everybody is obsessing about Hutch and obsessing about the injuries on the defensive line. So, I don't know. Put it in the comments. What do you think? Let me know. What are your opinions? Are you freaking out? Are there a bunch of guys you want him to go get that'll make you feel warm and fuzzy? Are you mad we didn't get Von Miller? Shit, you tell me. And then we have fantasy football, something that I don't want to lose sight about. We talked about doing our fantasy football league this year again. Thanks to Hitch for getting me the jersey that I could give to Tim. 2 seasons ago, you won the league, Tim Krushek, I believe. Put it in the comment. Let me know if I'm correct. But we hope you're going to be in it this year, now that I've given you the gift. But we're going to be doing the Fan Forum Fantasy League. It'll be free to join. The prize will be, I guess the prize can be up to you, whether you want the jersey or we can get you some Fan Forum swag. We can get you a hoodie. Shit, we can even make a logo that says I won and beat Hitch in the Fan Forum draft, and you can wear that. We can make a banner. I don't know. We'll come up with some kind of cool prize. But I want everybody who's listening to think about that. I know for sure we'll have like a Fan Forum team. I don't know. Maybe I'll do a team. Hitch does a team. Steve, I know you're out there listening. You said you would join. Maybe we could get like my son and some of his buddies too to join it. But I just want it to be fun and just like trash talking. And our idea would be we would bring it up on here, and every week we'd go through, who the matchups are, who's winning, who's losing, who already gave up throughout week 2 and clearly isn't making any roster moves. I'm guilty of doing that sometimes. So think about it. Let us know if you want to be part of the Fan Forum Fantasy Football League. I feel like maybe we should even do a live draft. I don't know. We can get nuts with it. We'll see when Hitch gets back what he wants to do. I'm sure he'll have a ton of good ideas. And then, we got the Tigers, guys. We had the All-Star break. It was a weird end to a really fun first half. I mean, there are almost 12 games at first. Best team in American League. They had that little bump with the Mariners, but the Mariners are a hot team, and they're ripping homers, dude. The Mariners are... If there was ever a year for the Mariners, this might be it. We'll see how long they can handle it, but that offense was looking scary, especially with the that catcher, the Big Dumpster. Was that his name? The Big Dumper? Yeah, that was sweet. So they're in contention, man. I'm real optimistic that it's going to be a fun second half of the season. I'll be curious to see if they do anything at the trade deadline. It to me, it's always a little slow welcome back from the All-Star break, but once that trade deadline hits, you get to see really what teams have completely given up and whose big dogs are going where. So the Tigers still have a big need, I think, at third base. They still have I'll take a couple more bats. I wouldn't mind another starting pitcher. We got options. We'll see what happens, though. You just got to let me know in the comments below what you think. It's going to be pretty funny, though, when you've got the 18th highest payroll in baseball outplaying the number one best payroll in baseball. So I just absolutely love that. To me, what the Tigers are doing with not only how they've drafted, how they've managed their payroll, how they've avoided every Illich tendency, and it's paid off. And in an era where you've got the Aaron Judges and you've got the Shohei Ohtani's, the Mookie Betts, the Acunas, I mean, these 3, 4, $500 million deals. You've got the Tigers who have Javi Baez, which up until now that contract looked absolutely awful, and he's still not fully out of the doghouse. But I don't know, it's pretty healthy looking roster as far as finances go. Would be nice to know that our ace Tarek Skubal sticks around, but everybody seems to think he's gonna chase the money and go to New York or go somewhere else. But we'll see. I'm still enjoying this season right now. I think that the party's not going to end anytime soon with these Tigers. They just look way too fun. Even though right now they are losing some interleague play against Pittsburgh, and as tempting as Paul Skeens' trade would be, I still think what we have as a roster right now, one or two players away, third base, corner outfielder, from making me feel a little bit more comfortable to go long term into the playoffs. Not much going on with the Pistons, not much going on with the Wings. Although I did get to go to this Ice Cube's Big Three, which was pretty cool. If you're familiar with like a Gus Macker basketball, like a 3-on-3 street ball, that's what it is, except it's professionals. You had Lance Stevenson, you had some Dwight Howard, guys that are retired out of the NBA that can still play. And it was pretty entertaining. We were at LCA. They shrink it down into half a court, and you get 4 games. It's first to 50, and they have a 4-pointer, a 3, a 2. It's a fun kind of street ball meets pro ball. And then Ice Cube did a little performance at halftime, which I'm not sure if he does it at all of his games, but the Detroit Amp were playing their first home game. So he came out and did what Ice Cube did. Just said, yay, yay, a bunch of times. And, yeah, it was fun. So I just want to say, if you get a chance to go to that, take a shot. The tickets are, I know they're pretty cheap. I think $60-$70 to sit like real low, and you get 4 games. I mean, it was kind of a long day, but like I said, you get 4 games, and it was pretty entertaining. So, all right, well, let's get back into a little bit more football. Like I said, football is right around the corner. It's kind of a slow news in sports when Chris Paul being signed is official after he's played for 20-some years. But I just want to go over a little bit into the NFL, see what's going around outside the Lions maybe. Phillip Rivers retires as a Charger, lifetime Charger. Loved Phillip Rivers, loved his all the teams that he quarterbacked for the Chargers. They had some amazing athletes on that team, on all those teams. Would have liked to see him get a ring. I think he's one of those quarterbacks that deserves one, but it's pretty cool to see him retire. Makes me feel a little old. What else is going on around in the NFL? Shit. We got biggest free agents still available. We can look through that. Nothing like a Lions fan who loves to talk about old, overpaid free agents. Speaking of, Keenan Allen is still a free agent. Says, well, he might not be the top playmaker he used to be, which is 100% true. He's still dirty. He could probably go out there and catch us some balls, when you help you win some games. Still a really good route runner, I bet. But you're not paying him top money, dude. And any team he goes to, he's just going to be maybe a bit more of a name. Amari Cooper, another wide receiver. Great. Loved him in Cleveland. Loved him in Dallas. Thought he was amazing in Alabama. He's out there. He will land somewhere. I feel like he's consistent enough. He's not a locker room distraction. But I don't see him going back to the Bills. Maybe the Steelers, 49ers, a team like that. I think he'll do a nice job. You got cornerback Rasul Douglas. He's coming off a down year, kind of a bigger name. Look for him to land. Bengals, Dolphins, maybe. You got Mike Hilton. He's another corner, too. He's probably one that'll go quicker. I could see him going to the Cowboys or the Raiders. I mean, guys, these are all vets that, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years ago still aren't going to get top contracts. So these aren't big names, recycled names. So I just expect these guys to get, a lot of one-year prove-it deals on here. Now, the Asante Samuels, he's still out there, junior. I'm really high on him coming out. Think he had some really nice years with the Chargers, but when healthy, right? Now we're talking about a team like the Lions where we're saying 13 players on the pup when healthy. So that's a lot of thing you got to look at with these free agents is, okay, how's that frame holding up, right? We can't risk adding more names to this list if you're not going to be able to play, right? Justin Simmons, safety. That's one spot we don't need help at, knock on wood. But he's out there. And then Zadarius Smith. Hey, I've only mentioned his name like 58 times so far. I don't really see what the fuck we're waiting on, but also at the point, I don't really see if there's a hurry. I don't feel like teams are going to be going all crazy to get Zadarius Smith, especially with the way that he finished the end of last year. It's not like he went nuts when he came here. But I think he's, from a tier level, he's probably top tier defensive edge rusher that's out there that fits the need. We know he likes the city. He likes his cash doll. He likes his cash money. He likes Hitch. They're big friend. They're friends. Actually, I had no idea Zadarius Smith and Hitch were so close. They're big into inline skating together, which is cool. It's pretty impressive to see what Hitch can do on a pair of inline skates. But yeah, I mean, like I said, not a lot of crazy news going on right now. Pittsburgh did one smart thing, I guess. That's, breaking news that they locked up TJ Watt, which was a no-brainer to me, especially with all the weird shit they've been doing lately with Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf, I'm sorry. Scary Terry McLaurin, he seems to be pissed at the Redskins right now. Kind of hope he goes somewhere else, man, because I don't want that Redskins team to be the thorn in our side the next couple years. I mean, I feel like the way it's been built is they're on their way up. Unless Jaden Daniels has a really, really crappy sophomore slump, I don't anticipate him, and I don't think anybody in the league's calling for it, but scary team. CJ Gardner-Johnson, still an idiot. Man, I'm really glad we got rid of CJ Gardner-Johnson. He doesn't seem to be worth anything. Von Miller's contract, it says, could be up to $10.5 million. Holy crap. Not bad considering his age. So they're signing him for a $6 million 1-year deal. We're going to go out and get Zadarius Smith for what? 1 year, 4.5 now? All right, I think I'll let Brad do that. Why does anybody care about Bill Belichick anymore? He's got a hot girlfriend. Yeah, I'm going through this news, fellas, and outside I think there's been more going on in Hitch's garage than there has been in the NFL. You know I'm right, too. All right, well, with that being said, um, like I mentioned before, we're going to have a really fun season this year with the fan forum. We're going to be doing a lot of lives. Um, and I want to kind of fall into everybody's head before a game. Come check us out, right? Hop on. Make sure you hit the notification button on your phone and on YouTube and Spotify. So, especially YouTube. So, here's the thing, right? When we go live, it's going to pop up on your phone and it's going to say, hey, Mark and the Podfather Hitch are live. And they want you to hop on and chat with them and talk some shit before the Lions game, make predictions. I'll tell you what, there's one thing that Hitch and I aren't big on too is sports betting. I know he knows more probably than me, and he's probably suited for the vice better for me. I could see him better at owing people money, owing bookies money, and getting away with it. But I also want, hey, if there's anybody that listens that thinks they want to chime in about betting, that's one aspect of this podcast that I know we need to do a better job on. Bone, if you're interested in coming back on when things calm down, I know you're big into betting on Chinese wiffle ball. But think about that. Again, put it in the comments. Throw your name out there. Throw some ideas out there. This is starting to become more than just Mark and Hitch talking for an hour. We want you guys to add to this show. Ironically, a lot of what you're hearing, what you listen, what you see has been the suggestions of everybody. May have not been in the comments section, but Chuck, you've given me enough, feedback along with the doc, and countless of other you have given me comments, and they've made their way into either it's the background, the lighting, the Hitch's body odor, his hair, what he wears. It all plays into it. Let us know. Don't be afraid. I don't want you guys to just be like, oh, what you guys are doing is so cool, because maybe it's not. Maybe it's stupid. Maybe what we're doing isn't cool and we need to change it. Or maybe, yeah, I've watched you guys long enough. Now I want you to change this. Or, hey, why did you change that? So just get vocal. I encourage everybody to throw some feedback out there too. Use the fan forum Facebook. I created one. It's where I'm posting all the stuff. But there's also obviously our fan forum page, but now there's the group and the page. We're on Spotify. Guys, I don't know what else to tell you other than we did have some fun with Mike Levati. He came into town this weekend. He's been on the podcast before. He's the local fat kid from the 90s around here in St. Clair Shores. So he was here from Denver with his girlfriend, and we had some good times to catch up. I do want to get him back on the podcast because he gives us the outside perspective. He's a Lions fan living in Broncos country, which is an obnoxiously terrible football team. I think they're going somewhere, but let's just say the last 20 years of the Denver Broncos being a thing, it got really annoying. So I don't hate him as much as Chuck does, but he also lived out there, so he had to deal with the fans. So hopefully Mike can come back on, and I also want to get some cheeseheads on, some Packer fans. Hartley, I'm looking at you. I want you on here. I know you said you would, but I want to call you out on it and make sure you actually do. Maybe you can do the podcast from one of your bulldozers or one of your big machines you play with. Well, all right. I'm going to get out of here. I think this has been a lovely solo podcast. We talked about Levi Anzaworke is injured. Sucks, but I'm confident we're going to go out and get Zadarius Smith. It's still kind of a quiet time right now. The injury buzz has hit the Lions name. It's I don't want to say it's hit the locker room just yet, but that name has been buzzing. Those two names, injury and Lions, are still floating around the internet together, and we need to get rid of that. I don't really want to get too caught up in the drama yet, but no need to panic. Once we have that Hall of Fame game, which is in a couple days, and we get some guys out on the field, we got a little bit of something to look at. I think it's going to be fun. We'll review that. We'll get on live for the Hall of Fame game too. I'm going to stream live before and probably during it too. So if you plan on watching it, I know I've never watched a Hall of Fame game, but our Lions are playing in it. So think about that. Join us. Join me. Probably will just be me. Hitch will still be, you know what? Hitch will be trying out for Levi Ansaworke's spot at that point. So, all right. Well, one love, peace, one pride, and pay your taxes.